So the suits and the court cards. So the suits, what helped me when I was a beginner learning the tarot with the suits is to assign them value based on a regular 52 deck set of playing cards. So the pentacles represents clubs, the swords represent spades, the cups represent hearts, and the wands represent diamond. And that's just something that personally helped me. It may not help you, but that's just a useful tool. But how we're to understand them in the tarot is pentacles are to represent money, that manyan, tactile goods, things that you can touch, feel, have, earn, sell, give away, tactile things. Stability, abundance, that's what pentacles represent. Swords represent thought, fast communication, any communication really, but generally like speedy communication, and pain. More like physical pain or like a deep, deep mental pain and agony. I think that kind of speaks for itself as far as like what a sword, for example, can do. Cups represent love. That's pretty simple, you know. I've heard it's to represent creativity. I wouldn't put it there, but I've heard people put cups as creativity. I wouldn't put it there. I would put it in wands. So wands represents energy, passion, like I said, creativity, motivation. I would call it like what they call that je ne sais quoi in French. So those are your 4 suits. So you're going to learn your 4 suits and you're going to go through the tarot and the minor arcana and you're going to learn ace through 10 of each of the suits. How I learned it, honestly, keeping it simple, keeping it a buck, was using the book that came with my Rider-Waite Tarot deck, which we talked about in our choosing a deck video. So I learned about the tarot using, I learned about the suits using that deck. And the cards that come with a book, a little booklet, a little black and white booklet. And that's how I first started just reading that booklet. Then I went on YouTube and I learned more. So, I picked videos that had interest to me, that made sense to me, and we're going to talk about 1 or 2 of those videos as we move forward in this video. But so, once you've learned the roles, the suits of the minor arcana, you're going to move on to the court cards. So that's the page, the queen, the king, and the knight. And so what I found a lot of fun about the court cards is that like it helped me to assign like personalities to them, like people who I knew in the real world, or even like people who I saw on TV. For example, the show Living Single, for my 90s gals, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, etc. girls. The show Living Single is such a dope representation of like each of the personality traits of the queens in the court cards. So what do I mean by that? So if you take, for example, the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a personality she represents mother energy, abundance, financial stability. I have so that I can take care of myself and the people whom I love. Right? So I would assign that role definitely to Khadijah. If y'all remember Khadijah on Living Single, she owned Flavor magazine. And so that's abundance, right? She's continually giving. She was the one whose house the show was took place in, and she brought roommates into her house, right? She's the provider, she's a stable source, right? She's the advice giver, So I would say that definitely Khadijah for the Queen of Pentacles. She represents I have so that I can give. The Queen of Swords. That's our girl. Maxine Shaw. So the swords definitely also represent law, and that's something you can look into. But so it's perfect. It's perfect. So Maxine Shaw, she is a straight shooter, right? Because the Queen of Swords is a personality. She's not. She never means to be harsh or hateful, but what she is direct. And why? Why are we direct when it comes to communication? Because we want people to understand us. So we don't mince words. And so our Queen of Swords is definitely going to be a Maxine Shaw, because if you say the wrong thing to Maxine Shaw, she's going to get it all together, and what I loved about Maxine Shaw is that it's no hate. I'm just letting you know who I am, where I stand, and you act accordingly. And also the thing about the Queen of Swords, like many times in readings you'll find in the future, or as you watch the videos of their you learn about the court cards through videos you watch. The Queen of Swords represents a lot of the time divorce, which is interesting because Maxine is a lawyer, a divorce lawyer, but it represents like making a decision, being decisive, and saying this doesn't work, and I am moving on. You know what I mean? Like, no hate, no, I'm preserving. Oh, Queen Maxine Shaw is such a Queen of Swords. And the thing about her is definitely that it's anyway. Maxine Shaw, Queen of Swords. So we move on to the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is definitely my girl, Regine. Regine is the Queen of Swords because, Regine is the Queen of Wands because she represents passion, right? Regine was out there having her dates, going out with her men's and them. She was looking for excitement. She was looking for that moonyan. And she was spicy and she was exciting, right? It's that thing that you cannot, you can't define it. She's Baba Boom, Betty Boop, you know what I mean? So for many, many reasons, Regine is definitely the Queen of Wands because she won't get to that bag, but she won't make sure that she gets to it by using that power of attraction. So that's the Queen of Wands. Finally, we have our sweetie pie, our heart, the Queen of Cups, which would be Sinclair. And I think that's just for obvious reasons, right? As I stated previously in the video, Queen of Cups represents love, and we all know that everything about Sinclair is her, coming from her heart, living from her heart, She's sweet, she just wants everyone to have goodness. And so for very easy and simple reasons, for very obvious reasons, I should say, Sinclair is that good old loving Queen of Cups. For very obvious reasons, Sinclair is that good old loving Queen of Cups. So what you can do with that, for example, you don't have to do it with people on TV. That worked for me. But you can also do it with people in your life.